Hey everybody, this is Skeet.
Lusha and Mikey over here.
Rock and Roll Roundtable.
Oh yeah, proudly presented by Moshman Media.
This week, dark and
Yeah.
twisted lyrics.
Yeah, dark and twisted lyrics, and the last one or the last big group I get to is more head turning. Like,
Yeah.
did they really say that? A lot, every song we've had dark and kind of gloomy songs forever in the history of music. You've always had subjects that were darker than other happy-go-lucky kind of things, and but there's some songs that I mean, just a handful I'll name to start, like Jeremy by Pearl Jam. I mean, we kind of know by listening to the song, the idea is that a kid got bullied in school and finally had enough and came in and basically unalived his entire class. That's what I take from the song. So it's not a uncommon. It's happened before, but you usually don't hear that, in a grunge band. They were all about other stuff than the dark, deep stuff. But you also had one that really resonated, and I didn't know for years that this song was about. But I heard an interview with the band, and they said what the song was about. It's "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by Filter.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and for people that don't know what that song's about, there was a politician in Pennsylvania way back when, and his name was Bud Dwyer. And he was at a press conference of some sort, and he had a brown paper bag, and he was handing out gifts to all his fellow politicians for whatever it was, Christmas or retirement or whatever the hell was going on. But he gets all the way through all the gifts, and the last thing in the bag is a gun. And he pulls it out, and the rest of the people freaking out, and he's telling them to back up and backs himself against the wall, puts the gun under his chin, and blows his head off live TV.
Jeez.
And the song kind of, because he was a corrupt politician, they're saying nice shot, because there's a part in the song where he says where it all went wrong. And then he says, so that's why I say, hey, man, nice shot. Because he went, to the bad thing. It's kind of an assholey song, really. It's like they're being sarcastic to him, like, hey, yeah, good shot, dude,
Yeah,
for blowing your
crazy.
head off. So, yeah, that's just a couple that were like deep and dark that were pretty big hits. But you got other
Well,
songs like The Kids Aren't All Right by The Offspring. I mean, that tells a story of suicide and drug abuse and a lot of other things that are going on. But the music is like happy, and it's like it's not a happy song. It really isn't. And there's a lot more like that than what you would think. Like we talked about Nirvana, and if some of Nirvana's was like downright brutal in your face, like rape me. There's no way around what that is about.
yeah.
There really is no way around that. But songs like Polly that are about come to find out about a 14-year-old girl that got abducted and lived through that. So
Yeah.
it's like those lyrics are kind of on the teetering on the edge of, kind of fucked up. And it's like Nirvana was like, you wouldn't think that too much, but Nirvana was a little angsty, I guess. So maybe you would see it more out of them than a lot of these other songs. But there's some songs we'll get into here
Yeah.
that
Well,
are, shall I say, quite the head turning. Like what the hell was that? And believe it or not, a lot of these are from back in the olden days. I mean, they're
yeah.
not like they're pushing the envelopes of today.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk. Did you know? We'll kind of talk about song by song here. the Rolling Stones have a song called Brown Sugar. Now, I'm sure you've heard Brown Sugar. Most everybody in the world has.
Yeah.
Have you ever really listened to the lyrics to Brown Sugar?
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
kind
I
of.
mean, if you don't know, it was like I was just jamming to it, and this guy was doing a video about some of the songs he found to be offensive to him and or just out there, you know. And I didn't know it said this time. I really didn't pay attention that it says Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields. That's the first line
Wow.
of the song. Sold in the market down in New Orleans. Scarred old slaver knows he's doing all right. Hear him whip the women just around midnight. Brown sugar, why do you taste so good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I the only one that thinks that's kind of uh not good? I mean,
Well, of course,
I don't know.
the way they sang it, it's a quicker tempo song, so he's
Yeah.
kind of blurring through those fucking lyrics. So it was kind. I think it just kind of went underneath the fucking radar, and it was done at a different time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back in the early 60s, we hadn't really had the whole civil rights thing go. So you
Yeah,
probably didn't hear as much pushback, but it just kind of, I never really paid attention, to tell you the truth, that it said that stuff. So it was interesting to me. Now, there are some that you can take, and I'll put a disclaimer out here. Okay. I'm not saying these people are writing brutal songs, that they're racist, that they're perverted or anything. They might just write a story to shock value or just it's misunderstood by people like me. And it could be. I'm not going to say all these guys are perverted or they're diabolical psychopaths or anything like that. I just want to get that out there.
yeah. We don't
That I'm
have
just
any proof that anybody is anything, but
no, I'm just saying that
it's questionable.
outright.
It is questionable.
Yeah, and some of these guys are like heroic, people's heroes. So it's like I wonder if they ever thought the same thing. Like, here's a couple. If you remember Elvis back in the this late 50s, early 60s, had the song "Kissin' Cousins," which was kind of I know that the joke with Mississippi and people like that. That song, I don't know. I think that is just a tongue in cheek kind of song. I really do. But then I never noticed in Jailhouse Rock. Okay, there's this one line that makes me just makes me wonder a little bit. Not saying there's anything to it, but there's a part in there, and it's like the third verse where he says, "Number 47 said to number 3, you're the cutest jailbird I ever did see." If they're in jail together, that's like, hmm, okay, 47 and 3 getting down.
The
You don't
love
know.
that must not be spoken.
Yeah, I'm almost sure he didn't mean it that way. But God, you just it's like kissing cousins. Well, I've got a gal as cute as can be. She's a distant cousin, but not too distant for me.
Yeah,
How do you just call that nothingness? It's like there's so many. There's one song by Sublime, now called "Date Rape." That's pretty obvious. But the song, if you listen to "Date Rape," it's about a guy who goes out on a date and rapes this woman, and then gets put in jail and gets raped himself.
so kind of a karma
And,
thing.
yeah, and there's more than one song like that. If you listen to Tool's "Prison Sex," it's kind of the same vein with that one.
Yeah.
But Sublime has another one called "Wrong Way." This starts out the song now. This how it starts out. Annie's 12 years old, and two more she'll be a whore. Nobody ever told her it's the wrong way. So I don't think he's just saying that this girl brought up in poverty. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. But they go on to say some crude stuff like a cigarette pressed between her lips, but I'm staring at her tits.
Yeah.
It's the wrong way. It's like, yeah, it is. That's the wrong way, dude. You're singing about
Well,
a
I mean,
12
you
year
know,
old girl.
without fucking knowing what he meant, was it a social comment on maybe growing up in a poor neighborhood? Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows where
I'm
this
just
stuff
saying,
is?
but the way they write it, it's like their point of view, which makes it kind of suspect. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that these guys are all thinking that. I'm just saying that they take the song and they have to write it a certain way. You
Yeah,
can't just say, well, there was a girl that I kind of sort of knew
yeah.
from blocks down the road. Yeah, you have to make it more personal. So that's like I
Well,
said, I'm not accusing these guys of being pedophiles or anything crazy like that. I'm just saying that these songs are they're kind of dark
yeah.
lyrically. It's like what
Uh,
are they getting to here? Hmm.
all right, so we can even go back because you're talking back in the day, like Elvis and stuff. I mean, you had Don McLean, American Pie, kind of touched on when Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper and Richie
Yeah,
Valens passed away. That's kind
yeah,
of alluding to that. You had like Last Kiss by Frank Wilson and the Cavaliers was about,
yeah.
a car wreck.
Well, yeah, Ricky Nelson did it, and then Pearl Jam did it too. Yeah,
So,
they all did that. They all did
there
that
was
song.
there's been like some Tell Laura I Love Her. So we were talking like old stuff. So they touched upon
Yeah,
like death and dark themes,
yeah. That
Teen
that's yeah,
Angel, you know. So it's not like there hasn't been some dark songs. I mean, Leader of the Pack by the Shangri-Las. You think of that old 50s rock and roll music, you
yeah.
know, Leader of the Pack, you hear the bike wreck in the song. So, they've always kind of touched upon death, but I think coming up into the newer age of music, they just wanted to talk about, you know, some taboo
Young,
stuff.
yeah, the young stuff. Like, well, even in the Beatles. I mean, if you listen to "Saw Her Standing There," the first line in the song is, "Well, she was just 17, if you know what I mean."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and the way she looked was beyond compare. How will I dance with another when I saw you standing there? So it's like, okay. I mean, you got to remember, Elvis married Priscilla. How much younger was she?
Yeah.
Jerry Lee Lewis married his 14-year-old cousin, for God's sakes, when he was in his 30s or whatever. So there are some that, and in that different time era, and to be truthful, in states today, there's ages are different. Some are
Yeah.
considered adults at 14, West Virginia and stuff like that. So I'm not saying even that at parents' permission, that's on the parents a little bit too. It's not always the guy. So I mean, ACDC's got some lyrics that we've talked about in the past that were like that one was a head turner for me was "Let Me Put My Love Into You," just
Yeah.
because of we talked about how it could be meaning different things. But when you just the initial shock of hearing "Don't you struggle and don't you fight,
Yeah.
don't you
Yeah.
worry,"
Yeah.
because it's our turn tonight or whatever, and it's like, "Let me put my love into you." I'm like, "Oh,
Well,
okay, dirt, yeah,
AC/DC and the double entendre, you know, you could take the song to be this or this. So they kind of
yeah,
leave it up to the listener on how you want to take it.
of course, yeah." Dirty Deeds is the same kind of way. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
I
talking
mean, but that
about
was,
killing somebody,
yeah, that was, tongue in cheek. So
yeah,
they
and that,
say, all right, okay. Moonlight Drive from the Doors. If you listen to that, there's, you get into that song. I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but, take him out on a
yeah,
moonlight drive and drowning him.
yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah. I mean, yeah, there's all kinds of them that are just that you don't think of But I mean, there's some that are straightforward. Like there's a song by the Commodores. I didn't even get the lyrics because it's title of the song's pretty explanatory. They got a song called "Young Girls Are My Weakness." That's kind of bold. That's kind of just saying, hell, I don't care. Now, and we talked a little bit last week about like, and a lot of the '80s, I think hair bands, not or maybe not all just the hair bands, glam bands. That persona, you never know what to think. Yeah, I mean, you don't really take anything too awful serious. Like Winger 17, okay?
Yeah.
And he's talking about he saw a girl, then he was getting ready to have sex with her or whatever, and she said, "I'm only 17." Daddy says you're too young, but you're old enough for me. So it's kind of like,
Well,
there again,
yeah.
you're in the gray area, and you kind of said, well, what if he was 18 or 19, wrote the song? I get that, but he wasn't, and it's like we don't know. He was probably just going for some kind of shock value or a song that rhymes. For God's sakes, 17's kind of 16 and 17 are used a lot in different
Well,
songs. I think it's because of the flow of the song. It could be, and I'm not gonna say, "Hey, oh, that's terrible."
well, Kiss, right?
But Kiss has Christine 16. Uh, that Christine 16 didn't bother me as much until he gets to the spoken word part of the song.
Okay.
Okay, and knowing Gene Simmons was a fucking school teacher doesn't make me feel better about this
Yeah.
part. The spoken word part is he says, "I don't usually say things to girls like this to girls your age. But when I saw you coming out of the school that day I knew I've got to have her. I've got to have you." That's kind of fucked up. That's just kind of dark and
Well,
twisted in my mind, man.
and again, it's from people's perspective. So,
Right.
are did some of these artists write this song when they were younger, or did they get inspiration for something, or are they just fucking perverts?
I think it's 50-50. I mean, I
You
think you're
know,
going to have
I,
some that are doing it for shock value. You're going to have some that remembered a time when they were younger and they had that happen to them. And then there's other songs where you really can't put up an argument for songs like there's one called uh what the Rock
okay,
Queen by Love and Hate. Okay, it starts out pretty much like an '80s songs. I got my wine, get out of my way, got a chip on my shoulder, had a real bad day, met a little girl, just 13. She's a knockdown, blue-eyed slut, psycho virgin tease. Rock Queen, 13. Buxom blonde, bad dream.
yeah,
That's
that's
pretty fucking
yeah,
brutal, man.
yeah, that's
That's
fucked
some
up.
and the whole song's like that. It's like the whole song's kind of like, man, are you guys under investigation or anything?
Well,
Because you're
yeah,
pretty. And
so you gotta remember, you've got rock and roll, and you've got young kids listening to rock and roll. So that's going to be a situation where you're going to have young fans being around people in the music industry.
I
So
get it.
it's
Yeah.
it's already, again, was it we just want the shock value, let's say what we can. I'm not defending anybody, but was
No,
that what
no,
it
I
was?
couldn't. I
I would
couldn't
like to
defend that
fucking
one.
know.
Yeah, I'd like to know
I'd
because
like to
some
fucking
people,
know, because that would
some of
change
them,
my whole feeling on some of these artists. It's like,
yeah,
oh, guys, the song was
eh,
cool, but I'm like this about your fucking lyrics.
yeah,
What
and
the fuck are you thinking?
and with that, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that thinking back now that Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis didn't get more heat. They didn't get more heat for 14-year-old girls they're marrying when they're 30s. That just seems like that's kind of fucked up for back then, and it's kind of fucked up for now. But I don't want to say everybody's a freak. Some of them probably are. But if you really look at the dark, twisted side, other than the perversion stuff, how many? I mean, like Slayer for years, known to everybody said they're satanic, they're this and that. Tom Araya is a devout Catholic. He's a church going guy, a family guy. Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman that wrote most of the songs. Jeff Hanneman, I think, or maybe it's Kerry. One of them lived across the road, like a stone's throw away from an actual slaughterhouse. So they would hear these god awful things coming out of that as they're at night trying to sleep or whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just think of the darker stuff. And with Kiss coming out, they were accused of being knights in Satan's service, and
Yeah.
all this stuff. We know that was a shtick. Some bands are actually satanic,
Yeah.
deicide. They don't hold back that they're satanic. They're Satanists. Bands like Behemoth, you don't know what to think because they're talking a lot of stuff. But is it a stick? Is it real?
Yeah.
Ghost, all these kind of bands. And that's just a different type of it's a different type of dark and twisted. It's also a different type of scheme to use to get where you need to be, or it fits your music the best, or whatever it may be. But I guess the ones I have the most trouble with, the head turners for me, are the sexual ones.
Yeah.
And they're not all, like I said, we've made a disclaimer. I don't think we have to to keep saying that, but there's a song here by, like, I love ZZ Top's music, and I never heard this song before in my life, and it's called Francine, and the verse 3 it says, "My Francine just turned 13. She's my angelic teenage queen, and I love her. That's all that I want. I need her, and that's all that I need."
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's just in passing, a song, but ZZ Top, maybe it's just for shock value for them. They were all goody goody, and we'll just do a crazy ass out of our head song. And the old songs are the ones that get me because the older songs. There's one like this one you can definitely take a multitude of ways, but I never took it the head turning way until I started investigating this stuff. And this song popped up, and I said, "That's a cool song. What the fuck has that got?" It's called "Vehicle" by the Ides of March, right? So I said, "I'm gonna read the lyrics." It didn't start out well. It
Yeah.
says, "Hey, well, I'm the friendly stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I've got pictures, got candy. I'm a lovable man, and you can take me to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go."
Yeah.
That sounds like some white passenger van kind of shit. Now, maybe he didn't mean it that way. He meant like I'm your answer to your prayers kind of thing. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But that song was like crazy popular. And I never even gave it a thought of being a darker, twisted song.
Yeah.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the lyrics are kind of right off the bat. I'm a stranger in a black sedan. Okay. What? Hop in my car. Like, come on, little kid.
Well,
Get in my car.
it kind of reminds you of Ozzy, Mr. Tinker Train.
Yeah. Yeah. See, shit
You
like
kind
that
of
is
listen
just,
to the lyrics and you go, "What the fuck did he just say? How
yeah,
about some
exactly.
sweeties, little girl, come a little closer?" I mean,
Yeah.
that's just off the top of my head, trying to remember the song. It's like that. That doesn't sound, it's
Yeah. There's
edgy as
sometimes,
fuck.
well, dude, there's songs where I hear that my head will turn, I'll do what the fuck was that? And other ones about halfway through, I just say, and get up and walk away. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I can't believe that I listened to this stuff. And it's like, I know a lot of it's probably over exaggerated, but you don't know. There's some I didn't even have any idea about, like Sick Again by, what is that by? Led Zeppelin, I think. And it's got some funky stuff in it. Caught your pretty blue eyes. One day soon, you're going to reach 16. Oh, clutching pages from your teenage dream in the lobby of the Hotel Paradise. Through the circus of the LA Queens, how fast you'll learn the downhill slide. Oh, fuck, man.
Well, yeah.
What the fuck?
Well,
It's just,
so everybody knows that sex fucking sells in
yeah.
rock and roll music. The images, the lyrics. I mean, Prince. How many fucking songs did Prince have? Darling
Oh,
Nikki comes to mind.
I got one that's worse for you later. I'll do it later, but well,
Okay,
maybe if I find it, I'll get it out of the way. But
but
it's pretty brutal.
there's certain songs that it's sex. There's no him hawing about it. So
Yeah, there's a
and it's not
few that.
always perverted, but they're still talking about sex.
Yeah, here's one by Prince. It's called Sister.
Oh shit.
I was only 16, but I guess that's no excuse. My sister was 32, lovely and loose. She didn't wear no underwear. She said it only gets in her hair. Yeah. And then it goes down, it goes farther. She's the reason for my sexuality. Showed me where it's supposed to go. A blowjob doesn't mean blow. Incest is everything it's said to be. That's a fucking song by Prince. That's fucked up, man. That's not a head turner. That's a get up and walk the fuck away and say, I can't do it. I can't do it today. And I read that yet for when I did the research on that. I was like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to believe that song exists. But there it was.
Well, now you know
Right.
why a
Finally.
lot of Prince songs don't make the radio.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I was going by this, these different people's list of songs you need to for like dark songs. I would have never picked Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. The song's title, it could be a lot of things. Young girl. Okay. Yeah, you're a young girl. And it says, get out of my head. Get out of my mind. That's it. My love for you is way out of line. Better run, girl. You're much too young, girl. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are just not even trying to hide it at all. It's like, that can't be construed too many ways, I don't think. Now, there is one song that we both know, and well, there's a couple that I want to talk. Did you know what the meaning of Motley Crue's "All I Need" is?
I I know what the subject matter was. It was
Yeah,
about a guy that killed his girlfriend, and that's why it got banned off of MTV.
yeah. I remember. I just wanted to know if you remembered that because it's like it took. I always thought that was a love song. I really did. I mean, it is
No.
kind of sort of. It's a demented, sick, twisted love song,
Yes.
but it's a love song, I guess, nonetheless. Um, But another one that's wildly popular, and I don't know that this one's kind of borderline for me. I wouldn't say it's. I'm saying it could mean a sexual thing, or it could just mean a murder type thing. Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Snot running down his nose, greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey,
Huh.
Aqualung.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of I didn't know the bad intent part. I mean, I knew it. I used to sing along, but I'm not thinking that he just said eyeing little girls with bad intent. So I'm like, is he going to kill him? Is he going to do something else? It's just a dark, twisted song for being all with the damn flute and shit. That's
Yeah.
pretty. That's pretty on the other side of a flute, if you ask me.
Well, let's see. Alice Cooper had Cold Ethel.
Yeah, yeah,
So, how much more taboo
yeah.
than that, if anybody knows what that's
Oh,
about, but that's about, doing some nasty stuff with someone who's no longer around.
Yeah, no longer with us. That's
So,
yeah,
but
and
Alice was shock rock. So, what was going through his head that he decided to do a song called that? Was it for the shock rock value? Was it,
could be.
you know,
I mean, he had a song that I really didn't dig into. I wish I would have now that you said Cold Ethel because I'd forgotten about that one. But what about Only Women Bleed? Is that just a song about women or is it talking about a period of time they have every month? I don't know.
yeah,
I guess I'll have to dig into those lyrics because but even there, that's kind of odd, but I wouldn't call it sick and twisted. I mean, it's like it does happen, it's part of life. But some of the ones that are just the ones that are super happy sounding are the ones that throw me off because I got this song popped up on my list that said My Sharona.
oh yeah,
Why would
fucking my
that?
Sharona's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of
It's
like,
like, oh my God.
oh, dude, what?
Yeah, it's like I always get it up for the touch of a younger kind. Come on, man. My Sharona. What?
Well, and
Happy, you low and lucky. I'm gonna get laid. Fucking
who
12-year-old.
who
Yeah,
didn't
it's like,
sing My Sharona as a kid growing up? You don't. It didn't register. You're
yeah,
listening to everything else, and then the fucking lyrics don't click until you kind of
no,
go, "What was that?"
that's
So
what I mean.
yeah,
That's a head turner when you're using a dun 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 dun. What the fuck was that? Touch of a younger kind? Really? Well, anyway, and there's some other songs that aren't that well, there's one by each. I'll go with the Police. Okay, I think this one was always the
well,
video
there's
kind of
there's
showed me.
two, right? There's two
Yeah,
from
there's
the
two.
police.
There's two that I have. Young teacher, the subject of schoolgirl fantasy. The girl is half his age, it says later. Then don't stand so close to me. Why don't you want him standing close to you, Sting? You freak. It's like her friends are so jealous that she's dating the teacher. He's being the teacher's pet. It's like wet bus stop. He's waiting. His car is warm and dry. What
Yeah,
the fuck? That's a that's a get up and walk away shit right there. And the other one, I think, if you know it, go ahead and say what your other one was.
every breath you take,
Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. I had that
Stalking
too.
somebody.
Yeah. Now the argument I heard, I was bringing some of these songs up, and one argument I did hear in my little group, I was talking about it, was how do you know that's not just a love song that he wants to be with her all the time? I'm like,
Okay,
no. Some of the words though said, "Can't you see you belong to me?"
well,
That's not. That's not. I want to be with you. That's you're mine, bitch. Don't even try to go away. So
It,
they
it
had her
depends
out
on
there.
how you take it. Yes, they
Yeah,
kind of, are we crossing a line? Are we not crossing a line? Are we dancing on the fucking edge? Or are we just jumping off that motherfucker?
yeah,
That's where you're at. It makes you, well, at least it makes you think and
yeah.
get
And
your
I mean,
attention. So
that's that. And I'll be honest. I'm going to tell you this up front. Majority of the songs that we're talking about today, I'm not going to change my opinion on just because I hear the lyrics are because they've always been there, and if they're no harm, no foul to me, because none of these people that I've read off so far that I know of have ever been in trouble for shit. So it's not like I'm going to read these lyrics and say, "Oh, because I'm a First Amendment guy.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
I love fucking being able to write whatever the hell I wanted to for years and years and years. I wrote the songs I shouldn't have that
yeah.
were dark, twisted, kind of offensive about murder, about other kind of thing. So it's like I'm not gonna harp on them about it. It just makes you think. And if you really dive into lyrics, what more can you find in a song? I still love the Police. I still love both of those songs. You're not gonna change. In my opinion, is not gonna change on that just because it could mean something. It could mean something else. Because I know how people can take words to songs and get a different direction out of them. And I've had it happen, so, and there's some I've done that, are
Well,
pretty blatant. Yeah, they were
and,
pretty blatant. And
this topic is you were researching. So
yeah,
once you hyper focus on something, then you're kind of finding stuff where it may never have been there, but it could mean that.
yeah. I
So,
mean, and we've talked about it already. There's a lot of them you can't deny it. You're like, well, that's what they mean. But there's other ones. Yeah, it's up for suggestion, debate, whatever. I don't know if this one fits that bill, but this one's kind of weird. I barely remember the song, but I liked a lot of the songs from Steely Dan, so I threw it in the lump here. This guy is said, "Well, I kicked around a lot since high school. I've worked a lot of nowhere gigs, from the keyboard man in a rock and roll band to hauling boss crude in the big rigs." That's okay. That's nice enough. Now I've come back home to plan my next move from the comfort of my Aunt Faye's couch. Okay. When I see my little cousin Jazz Janine walk in, well, all I could do was say, ouch. He said, "Then do you remember when we used to play when you were 3? How about a little kiss for your cousin Dupree?" That's off the rail, man. It's like going to your aunt's house, you're gonna hook up with your cousin that you used to play with. It's like, I don't know, man. That's kind of it's not like it totally off the rail perverted, I guess, but there's a lot of them that just it's opening lines of these songs, like not even all rock songs. I mean, if I wanted to go down the big rabbit hole, I would have went to pop music and all that. But there was one that popped up that I remember this song and I liked it. It was called "Into the Night." It was like a mellow "If I Could Fly," that one.
yeah.
Starts out the song. She's just 16 years old. Leave her alone, they say. Oh, if I could fly and pick you up and take you into the night and show you a love like you've never seen. Benny, 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 what are you doing, man? What are you doing, Benny? She's only 16. They told you to leave her alone. Just fucking do it. Just do it. Don't even think. Yeah. Oh, man. There's 3 songs that all have the same name.
Okay.
And they're all by 3 different bands, of course, but called Jailbait. Now, we
No
were in
shit.
school. We knew what jailbait meant. Here's verse 2 of this song, Jailbait by Mr. Ted Nugent. Well, I don't care if you're just 13. You look too good to be true. I just know that you're probably clean. There's one little thing I think I got to do. Motor City Madman or Madman in general, you don't know. Here's another one. This is another song called Jailbait. I don't even dare to ask your age. It's enough to know you're here backstage. You're jailbait, and I just can't wait. Jailbait, baby, come on. Okay. That was by Motorhead, our buddy Lemmy.
Let me.
Yeah. And I think what is the last one by Jail? Oh, here we go. This jailbait is by Here Come the Mummies. Sweet, sweet, young and horny. Can't tell if she's statutory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Oh, Jesus.
Smoke and taste the debutante. Yeah. Cotton panties are sex dream haunt. Think before you make a mistake. She's jailbait. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to defend some of them, but those things I just they're hard to uh do.
Well,
I don't
again,
know.
are they trying to warn people not to go after jailbait, or what? What's the thinking behind
I
it? Who
I
fucking
I
knows?
I actually think Here Come the Mummies do it for shock value because, of their shtick anyway.
Yeah,
And to say stuff like glory, hallelujah, they're making fun of shit. Kind of like Steel Panther, with the whole community property and shit like that.
yeah,
They make fun of the whole this kind of writing. They make satire out of it. But
yeah,
so when they're singing community property and stuff, or 17 girls in a row at the wherever the bowling alley or whatever it was, I forget now. But they're doing the shtick, so I don't have any problems with that. And some of these other ones I think are probably harmless. It's just I wish some of them would say, she was only 18 or only 19. Why has it got to be 13, 12? It's just a little too much. Here's one by I never heard this song, but I know the band very well, Kid Rock, called Cool Daddy Cool. Must be back from the rapping days or a little
rapping
bit or something.
days.
Oh, this I'm just going to read the part of the song that gets me. Young ladies, I like them underage. You see, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. So it's like, okay, dude, Kid Rock, man. Your name is Kid. Uh, well, let's see. Okay, here's one. Another one that we both know. And
Okay.
I've thought about this song for a long time. I think it's meant to be a joke, and I think it's just kind of like Tone. You remember Tone Loc's song, where it's Wild Thing or Funky Cold Medina, where it ends up Sheena was a man. That part,
Yeah, yeah.
is a joke kind of thing. So, what do you think of the Kinks, Lola? Do you feel that way with that song? Like it's like he meets up with this woman named Lola, but Lola's
It
not
could. It,
really a woman.
yeah.
She because he says it in there. She walked. Was it say? Uh, but I know what I am, and I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Lola's glad he's a man, or Lola's also glad she's a man? It's kind of a funny song. I mean, it's not a. I don't take it as nasty. I just think it's kind of twist. It's got a twist to it, like a plot twist.
Yeah.
Like you're listening to the whole song, and it's like, wait a minute, is
Well,
Lola?
what's the
Wait
name
a
of the
fucking
band?
second.
What's the name of the band?
The Kinks. So I
do,
mean,
do you need to
they
say
had
anything more?
they had some songs like that with Father Christmas and shit like that. But it's like Lola was always one I've kind of thought it's a cool plot twist. It's not like a dark. I guess you wouldn't consider it the dark side, but just a plot twist. I thought I when because they had it on the list. I was like, I don't hear nothing in now. I really
Well, take a walk on the wild side.
don't. Oh yeah, yeah. That's got the and the
That's
Killer
got
Girls go.
drugs. It's got it's got a little bit of everything that they're singing about. And
I
it
have
was
a
Lou Reed,
couple
wasn't
for
it? Lou Reed
yeah,
did
Lou
that.
Reed.
So he was from New York. So it's not like you're not going to run into those people. So is he just documenting what he deals with in New York at that time? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You're a
and
right.
and
You
and
are a writer, so you write lyrics.
yeah,
So
I
you
think
you catch
uh,
that stuff more than I do. There's songs where I didn't. This some of these I'm going, damn. I never
yeah,
paid enough
yeah.
attention to the lyrics to
I
catch
didn't
this
either.
stuff.
I mean, how many times have I listened to Aqualung and I never heard that eyeing little girls with bad intent part? I was like, I heard that. I was like, what the fuck? I've been listening to that for years. I didn't catch it. Even people I don't really care for their music, but like right off the bat, hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go away and leave you all alone? I got a bad desire. I'm on fire.
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah.
Springsteen.
Bruce
It's a huge
Springsteen.
hit. It's a huge hit. Now, he talks about waking up in the middle of the night with the sheet soaking wet because he's thinking about this little girl at home. Is he worried about her because her dad left, or is he wanting to do other things? Which a bad desire? See, if they wrote songs a little different phrasing, that would be better for me. It's like, I should go. I should, but I know it's trying to flow of the song. I get it. So I'm not going to go out and say, "Oh, pedophile, mark him off the list, pedophile, pedophile."
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. But it's like some of them, man. It's like, did they even listen to the song back? Did they even say, "Oh, young girl, get out of my mind"? Maybe people might not think that's cool, but they just go ahead and did it anyway. It's fine. Like I say, First Amendment's all good and dandy. Even back in Tom Jones, I love Tom Jones. The whole, it's not unusual. This song was not that's sexual in any way. I'll give that. I'm not even trying to say it's a sexual thing. This was just a very cool. It was a cool story, but it was also kind of dark and twisted. Where he said, I saw the light on that night when I passed by her window. I saw the shadow of love on her blind. She was my woman. As she deceived me, I watched and went out of my mind. Then he goes on with the chorus, why, Delilah. The next verse is where it gets it. At break of day, when that man drove away, I was waiting. I crossed the street to her house, and as she opened the door, she stood there laughing. I felt the knife in my hand, and she laughed no more.
Damn.
My, Delilah. Why, Delilah. So before they come to break down the door, forgive me, Delilah, I just couldn't take anymore. So he
Yeah.
just up and killed his fucking woman. And this is 60s. And,
Well,
it's like, hey, Joe.
hey
Hey,
Joe,
Joe
yeah.
talked about, I'm going to go shoot that motherfucker down, man.
Barry Manilow,
Copacabana.
Copacabana.
Yeah.
It's telling a story, and then you hear the story, and it's like, what?
Yeah. That happy, everybody's kind of
What?
dancing. Oh,
Copacabana.
Copacabana. And that's the only part. I mean, I didn't really get it till I had to listen to it. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's pretty good story. I mean, it's a good story, but it's like, yeah, it's kind of deep, kind of dark,
Yeah.
kind of out there a little bit. But the Motley Crue thing was a surprise to me. Like all I need, you seem to know it already. I did not
Yeah.
know
Well,
that if like
all in the name
all in
of
the name of. Isn't that another? Okay, that one
that
I had
starts
on the
right
list.
out on the fucking point. She's
What's it
only
say?
15. She's the
Uh,
reason I can't sleep. And then,
yeah,
Dirty Magazine, you go, it's like, but you're singing along with it. You don't even,
yeah.
but
You
yeah,
don't
you're
think about it.
going, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, yeah. Now there's you get into stuff like that. There's a couple. Uh, Randy Newman. I don't know if you know who Randy Newman is. He's
Oh
like a
yeah, short people. Yeah, I've
short
heard,
people.
I've heard Randy Newman.
Now, short people is bad enough. I mean, he's kind of just outright smacking short people, which is not cool, but it's like, I get it. It's kind of a tongue in cheek song. I get it. Have you ever heard the song Rednecks?
Oh fuck, no.
Oh, yeah. Here's the first verse of Rednecks. We talk real funny down here. We drink too much and we laugh too loud. We're too dumb to make it in any northern town. We're keeping the, call it, ginners down here.
Huh? No.
You're going to call them, we're going to say ginners on that stuff. And he says that in every single verse.
Huh? No,
In the
I
last
didn't. I
verse,
didn't.
he said, now your northern ginner is a Negro. You see, he's got his dignity. Down here, we too ignorant to realize the North had set the nigger free.
Wow.
Yeah. How is he alive? How was this motherfucker alive and walking the
Well,
earth today?
so he was active during the civil rights movement.
Yeah,
right
but
afterwards.
that's that
So it
that's
sounds
slang.
like that's what he was doing. He was dogging people that use those terms,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I mean, you surprised he could get by with not any repercussions from that. Maybe he did. Maybe he got some. I don't know. I just thought it was weird because you don't hear that every day in rock music or even
Yeah.
popular music. Another one that was big for that took I think took some flack. Remember the song "One in a Million"
Yep.
by
I
Guns
do
N'
remember
Roses?
that. Yep. That was hard.
Yeah, that was the. You really think about that. There's no denying that that tune is kind of used for shock value. I mean, I really think it is. But you can't hardly play because you couldn't play the song on the radio.
No.
You wouldn't be able to play that. And Guns N' Roses was they had some foul language or whatever people consider
Yeah.
foul language and stuff. But when you say police and jinners, get out of my way, don't want to buy in your gold chains today, that's for a guy that's got a biracial dude in his band, you would think. I
Yeah.
don't know, if him and Slash talked about that because I wouldn't think it would be something Slash would be like, yeah, you can call it anything you want. I don't know that he would go to that extreme. Now I'm not saying that Axl Rose is against, because he's buddies with Slash. They've been buddies for years. I think it was just a view of the times in LA because that's where it was all about.
Yeah.
And you got to remember the early 90s with the Rodney King
Yeah.
things. And so there's a lot of things. I'm just saying the shock of hearing that. And
Well,
I think I knew he'd said it, but it's like when it was on the list, I had to play it again because I'm like, I don't remember what would be bad about this song. And then it popped in. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well, rap. We don't even need to go
You're on
there.
mute. Oh, okay. Go back. You were
Yeah.
cracking up a little bit. So,
Yeah. So, they use those terms all the time. So,
yeah.
is it for shock value? I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of rap, but you know, they want to throw those words in there. That's what they do. They get that shock value, and
Yeah, I think,
you know,
but I think it's different than with a white redheaded long haired
yeah, exactly. It's
guy
like, dude,
saying it.
what are you trying to do here? You're trying to get people pissed.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it the shock value?
It's definitely the shock value. There was one that was really shocking for me because I really listened to a lot of his music, and I couldn't even find the lyrics of this one. There's two I couldn't find the lyrics for. We'll talk about this one, and then we got one more. But Jim Croce, Time in the Bottle guy. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I love Jim Croce. Bad, bad Leroy Brown. He had a song called 5 Short Minutes. And I heard the song, but I couldn't find the lyrics for it. But I know the chorus goes, 5 short minutes of loving cost me 20 long years in jail. So, Jim, what the
well,
fuck?
and Jim Croce wasn't in prison. You know what
No,
I
I'm just.
mean?
I'm just saying that he's saying 5 short minutes of loving get you 20 long years in jail. It's like, why would you go to jail for 5 minutes of loving unless it's
Shouldn't be done. Yeah,
underage,
exactly. Yeah,
underage or by force. So
yeah,
the
yeah.
sentiments there that that's
Well, again,
kind of a dark
you
song.
know, you're a lyricist. There's stuff that inspires you to write. So,
Yeah.
what did some of these artists go through that they wanted to talk about? Is it a personal experience? Is it something they see in the news? We don't know. We just
No,
know
and
what
I know
it
there's
gives you.
I know there's got to be there's probably some people that are brazen and they might be actually sick in the head. They might be. There's some that are just doing it to see what kind of a response they get.
Yeah,
There's some that didn't even probably notice, like Aqualung. I don't think, it was just a creep. You wanted to give him that creepy sentence. So when he's looking at little girls, he's considered a creeper. But he's also got the snot, and he's wearing
yeah,
his clothes. So they're setting the tone for the guy's character. I get that. Some of these were just uncalled for, though. I mean, to
Yeah,
be honest, I wouldn't go that far, and I go a lot of places I shouldn't have.
yeah.
But I just, some of them hit me the wrong way. It's like, that's just too much, man. It's a little too much. Some of them, I knew they were just sticking it. They were
Yeah.
just trying to be pushing the envelope. The era it came out,
Well, and speaking of pushing the envelope,
yeah.
yeah, the band
I,
that
I,
I'm wearing a concert shirt from, if you can see, I got the
I
got a little wasp action here. Talk
and this
about
was,
pushing the envelope.
yeah, this was a song I'd never heard of. I found it by mistake doing some research here. And surprisingly, you knew the album, but you didn't know the song, correct?
Yeah.
Is that how?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's a deep, dark. I mean, just you look at the imagery just on the video, and it's got the words as you're seeing.
Now I don't know.
It's not.
I think this might have been like a fan video that they made the lyrics to.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. I don't know.
yeah, I
It
don't
might
think this
be.
was official. I don't think this is officially their video for it, but
It's
and
still,
we
yeah. I mean, it's a lyric video.
yeah, it's a lyric
Sometimes,
video. So somebody made this.
yeah. I mean, uh, that worm, man. It's like it's creepy. I don't even know if it's twisted. It's just creepy. Ugh. But Wasp, they wasn't afraid to push the envelope.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the other songs they had were pretty brutal. Fuck like a beast,
Exactly. And that,
shit like that.
that they
Reject.
got on the PMRC's fucking shit list for how fucking long?
Yeah, and there's a lot of songs like that that are super popular. You look at Closer by Nine Inch Nails. I mean, I want to fuck you like an animal. I want to feel you from the inside. It's like, yeah, that's kind of dark and twisted shit. So dark and twisted doesn't always have to mean sexual. It doesn't always have to mean demonic. It can just be upsetting, unsettling. It's like, why? How did these people write this shit? Like this one.
Yeah.
What made you write this stuff? What would be going on in your life that makes you want to create this almost like the villain, like a demon in a movie? Maybe that was the intent. You don't know. Maybe they were trying to convey like a Michael Myers himself there, or not comical Freddy Krueger character, like a
Yeah.
Saul character or something like that. Who knows? But the twistedness and the darkness is always going to be around,
Yeah.
and people will take it for different things. And the sexual stuff, I think, is probably going to be. I think it's been monitored more as we've gotten. Maybe not in rap. Rap still talks a lot of crazy stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, you think wet ass pussy was a fucking monumental hit. People were singing that shit walking down the street. It's like, man, where are we at? Where are we at in society that song's like kids are dancing and singing that shit. And so it's times are changing. They're constantly changing.
Well, and again, but you go back, in this fucking country, we have an amendment that says you have freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So, unless you want to be a hypocrite
No.
and go,
Yeah. I
well,
don't.
you can sing about what you want. I don't have to fucking like it and I don't have to listen to it. And I think that's the common sense that's kind of gotten away from everybody. It's like you don't have to like it, but it has to be there. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
why
I
comedy
just
got so much slack through the fucking years. You can
yeah,
say what you want and you don't have to like it or agree with it. You don't have to buy it. So
yeah, yeah.
that's
You
the
gotta
whole
think
thing.
about it. Ozzy. Ozzy and Marilyn Manson and all these people, they got accused of causing people to go out, Judas Priest, go out and kill people. They
Yeah.
listen to this music, it makes you go kill people. Well, if that's the case, then, as a parent, if you don't want your kid listening to Jailbait by Ted Nugent, don't let them listen to it. That's they're allowed to put it out, and anybody over the age of 18 can listen to whatever they want. But if you're the parent in charge, your kid's listening to Wet Ass Pussy and you're not having a problem with it, that's on you. If they're
Yeah.
listening to Jailbait, or if they're listening to Rednecks by Randy Newman and go around saying that word at school and get the shit kicked out of them, guess what? That's on the parents. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to have some. I would never tell anybody not to write something. Even if
No.
I think it's perverse, it's like you have that right. I just don't have to listen to your shit. Simple.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of dark and twisted in a lot of music. Do I love it? Oh, I mean, hell, the Angel of Death by Slayer. He talks about Joseph Mengele, just killing people at Auschwitz. And it's like I sing every word to that song, dude. It's not saying I'm an anti-Semite wants to go out and kill the Jewish people. I'm just saying I like the song, and the song happens to be a dark subject about a very dark event that happened in history.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm saying I'm gonna have a swastika put on me and go out and start screaming "Angel of Death" and putting people in gas chambers and shit. That's what people they get carried away sometimes,
Well,
even with this rap stuff. Because a rap guy says go get your Glock and do this, don't mean they have to. Don't mean you do it.
yeah. Well,
They tell me to jump off a bridge, I ain't gonna do that either. So it's like gotta have common sense,
common
and you gotta
sense
be
and
taught
accountability.
common sense.
You know,
Yes,
you got to have some accountability. You don't. We don't watch the Looney Tunes as kids growing up and knowing you could drop a fucking rock on somebody and everything's gonna be cool. You got a little
yeah,
common sense. So
there's cartoons back in, and that if you dig deep into them, there's some less than righteous and wholesome stuff in some of that
yeah,
stuff. People won't admit that they just don't want to believe it, but it's there. It's been there since forever. I mean, Tom Jones with Delilah talking about killing his woman. Hey, that shit happens. That's real life. Your
yeah,
woman cheats on you and you decide you go crazy and you kill her. You gonna tell me that's never happened on the daily in this country? So
yeah,
it's not like he's saying something, you know, put in your head to go out and kill a woman across the street. No, he had a reason. And it's not saying advocate for murdering somebody, but shit happens.
yeah,
You're reporting on what you see. Observe and report. That's how I wrote about life in general, real life
yeah.
shit. And he might have knew somebody that
It
lost their
happened to
mind and a
yeah.
woman cheated on.
It's all everything is up open to interpretation, and
Yeah,
you know that's that. It depends on where your mind is, but there's a lot of songs that you pick something up and it triggers something in your mind where you go again that whole what was that?
yeah, yeah.
And maybe that's the
It's
purpose
definitely
of the lyric in the song is to catch your fucking attention. Say, are you sleeping? Or are you listening? Maybe
yeah.
that's what it
Anytime,
is. That hook.
and I'll be honest, one of the triggers for me is little girl
Yeah.
or little kids or 12, 13, 16, anything like that. It's like automatically I'm like, but when I was 16 back in the day or whatever, Christine 16, I didn't think anything about it. I didn't even pay attention to that part Gene was talking, that in the middle. I'm like, now I do. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
It's out there.
you were a parent. You were a
Yeah.
parent. So now it's like, what am I listening to? You kind of the little parent warning goes up and says, "Well, wait a minute. Maybe that's not cool. Maybe that is not
Yeah.
cool for you to listen to." So but yeah,
Yeah.
and you change, you grow up, and that's what fucking changes. The parent warning, boom, this might not be safe. Don't touch the fucking stove. Or you know what I'm
Or
saying?
there's a lot of times where, truthfully, I didn't sit there and nitpick the lyrics apart. Even being a lyricist myself, I just kind of went with the song. Some of them that really there was a lot of surprises on that list,
Yeah,
and the stuff I found just by digging through. It's like some of them I really, it was like I couldn't believe I've listened to this 1,000 times
and
and
never picked
never
up
got
on
the
it.
correlation. Yeah, it was just like I thought all songs that sounded happy-go-lucky are kind of happy-go-lucky. No, no. That's the way it is, man.
Yeah,
Everything's dark, everything's twisted, and you never know where it's going to show its face. You could have the most doomy sounding song in the world be about unicorns and rainbows too.
yeah.
Yeah, you're never going to know. The Weezer effect for me. The heaviest crunching guitars you ever talk about, and they're singing about ooh wee ooh. I look just like Buddy Holly.
Yeah, exactly.
Just some wholesome stuff like that. But the crunching guitars, you would think it's going to be something different. So
Yeah,
it's how it is, man. Music's a beautiful thing for that because you never know what you're going to get. Like Forrest Gump and life's like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to
yeah.
get. Just if you're worried about that stuff as a parent and you're a younger person or something, just maybe check the lyrics out. Yeah,
Well, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on.
if you want to. I mean, if you don't think it's gonna hurt anything, yeah. Do I overreact sometimes? Sure. Just opinions, just my opinions. That's all I can give.
It's been kind of eye opening on some of the stuff, Mikey. That's good fucking research, dude.
Yeah, I think there's so many more you could do, but I gotta leave it kind of. I had to leave it kind of out there. It's like I'll just pay more attention to lyrics myself. And like I said, I'm not gonna stop listening to songs because there could be
Yeah,
something
yeah,
bad with the lyrics.
yeah.
So,
All right, Mikey. I think that's gonna wrap it up this week.
yes, sir. I'm good with that.
All right, sweet. This is Skeet.
Moshin, Mikey.
See ya.
Peace out.